everything you need to pack if you're planning on hiking Mount Kilimanjaro. Hi, my name is Bailey and I am a travel content creator, mainly on TikTok and Instagram, but also here on YouTube. I mainly post informational things about the trips that I take on my YouTube channel, but if you want to keep up more with my day-to-day life, that's definitely found on Instagram and TikTok. Now, I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro back in January, but I'm pretty sure the weather on the mountain is pretty similar year-round. And I'm honestly pretty confident with my packing list. If anything, I just brought a little too much random things. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over all of the clothing that I brought, all the random little things that I brought, the shoes that I wore, and the bags that I packed in order to complete this trek. I hiked the Rongai route, which is about 7 days, and I cannot recommend it more. It's definitely a lesser traveled path, which is what I was really looking for, to be super immersed in nature. And before this trip, I was researching everything and anything I could because this is a type of trip that was really outside of my comfort zone. I had done nothing like this ever before, and I just wanted to make sure that I was prepared because I knew that through the 7 days I was going to be hitting like 5 different environmental zones, and you only get to pack a certain amount of things, and I was just really stressed that I wasn't going to be prepared. But I promise you, this list will really help you get started, if not be the only list that you need to think about when you're packing for Mount Kilimanjaro. And so with that, let's get into the video. Now, before we get started, I have one disclaimer that I want to make for you guys. Please make sure that you pack everything that you need for the mountain in a carry-on bag that will make it onto the airplane with you. And I'm telling you this from experience. Thankfully, my bag did not get lost. However, one of my friends that I was hiking with, her bag did get lost in transit, and we were panicking, trying to find different stuff for her to wear, trying to piece things together in the days before the trek, and trying to track down her bag so that she would have all of her stuff that she needed. So this is my warning to you of please do not check a bag. Also, if you have to check a bag that's full of Kili stuff, you probably have too much for what's going to be allowed for the weight limits anyway. So with that disclaimer out of the way, let's get into the 2 bags that I did pack in order to do this trek. My first and least important bag, the bag that I packed with all my clothes essentially for the trek. This is not important, but I would make sure it's like carry-on size, like I said before, to just make sure that all your stuff will be able to fit into the duffels that they give you. This is just my 40-liter Osprey backpack that I take on pretty much every trip with me. But the reason I'm saying this bag doesn't matter is because most companies will give you a duffel bag to transfer all of your stuff in, and it's a waterproof duffel bag that's a lot bigger, so you can also fit a sleeping bag and other necessities in that bag as well. So this bag doesn't matter as much. Now, the bag that is extremely important is the bag that you're going to be hiking with every day. This is the Cotopaxi 32 Arenal backpack, and I loved this bag on my trek. It is top loading and has so many different pockets that I was able to organize things in throughout the hike. Like all my snacks went in here throughout the day. It has 2 pockets on the hip bands where I put my cameras, my phones, my chapsticks, other little snacks that I wanted as we're actually hiking. And I think 32 liters was the perfect size for the trek. You just really want to make sure you have something that's super supportive and has a hip belt in order to keep all your weight distributed equally. The worst night with that bag was summit night. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory because it's when you're the most exhausted, but you also have to wear your backpack with like 10 to 15 pounds in it for 10 hours. And I just simply, by the end of it, could not hold up my bag anymore because my back was so sore. Now, when it comes to clothes that I packed for this trek, like I said before, you're going through 5 different climate zones. So you really need everything from super lightweight short sleeves to the heaviest down jacket and mittens that you can pack in your bag. I'm going to be posting the packing list at the very end, but for now, let's go through everything that I brought, the brands that I bought, what I'd recommend, what's really important, and we're just going to rapid fire it. I brought 2 pairs of hiking pants that I pretty much alternated every single day. The first pair is a Cotopaxi zip off, which can zip off into shorts. I wore shorts the first day, but I would have also been fine in pants. It's not something that's a necessity. The next pair of pants that I brought are these Prana cargos. These are a little bit thicker, and I wore these on summit night, whereas my other ones are very lightweight. Then you also need to make sure you have a pair of rain pants. Thankfully for our trek, it only rained right after summit day, so I never really had to wear these besides summit night as almost like a snow pant layer. I personally did not bring snow pants. I just layered a ton of pants under these guys. Something that is important though is if you don't want to get gaiters for your feet, which me and none of my friends did, you want to make sure you have some sort of pant that can tighten around your ankle, because when you come down off the mountain on summit night, you're kind of skiing through this volcanic screed, and it's just tossing up dust and dirt and everything that could easily get into your shoes if you don't have something to kind of like keep everything out. Lastly, for pants, I had a pair of merino wool leggings. They have a thick band at the bottom to keep them tight, and they were just so warm and so comfortable, and I wore these to bed most nights as well. Next, for jackets, I had a waterproof windbreaker shell. This is also from Cotopaxi, and I wore this 24/7. Like I said, it didn't even rain for us, but just as a windbreaker layer, it was so crucial. I don't know if I would recommend this color because it definitely got trashed, but it did look good, so it just depends on what you're going for. Next, I brought a Columbia fleece. You just need some sort of fleece layer to also keep warm, and I wore this a ton at camp and to sleep in. Then for most of the mornings, I ended up wearing my thin puffer jacket. This one is from Quince, but any sort of packable, really thin puffer will do. It's also not mandatory to have 2 puffers that I'm going to show you, but I know that I always run cold, so I wanted to make sure that I had a thinner option. And then lastly, I had the Cotopaxi down jacket, and this one needs to have a hood because this is what you're going to be wearing on summit night. I did so much research into these jackets, and this one made the most sense for me budget-wise and what I was looking for, and it's also a size up from what I normally wear because you have to put like 15 layers under this jacket. I really only wore this for summit night, and I think 2 other nights, or like at morning to breakfast, and that was really it, but it is crucial for summit night. Now for socks, I brought 2 different kinds of socks, but 4 total pairs for 7 days. This is a heavyweight merino wool pair of socks, and I really only wore these on summit night, and every other day of the trek I wore more of a mid-weight merino sock. The brand is Sam Socks, and I actually really loved these. Merino wool is just the best for every sort of base layer. 1, because it's thin and it keeps you warm, and 2, it does not stink, which is great on this trip when you're re-wearing everything multiple times. So along with the merino wool, I did have a merino wool base layer top. This is also something that I wore to bed a lot, and then I wore on summit night as my base layer. For the other shirts that I brought, I had 2 dry fit long sleeves that I pretty much rotated between, and then 1 dry fit short sleeve. I really tried to prioritize wearing the long sleeves though, because UV at higher altitude does damage. It is so much more powerful even though it's pretty cold out, so you just want to make sure that you're fully layered up. Now you need to bring 2 pairs of gloves. These were like my thin liner gloves that I had for every other day of the trek except for summit night, and then on summit night I started with these gloves, and then as it got colder I threw on these North Face proper snow mittens. I think the most frustrating part of packing for this is there was so much stuff that I had to bring just for summit night that I knew I wouldn't really wear any other part of the trek, but it is so crucial to have. Now I brought 2 hats. I had 1 dry fit baseball hat that I practically wore every single day, especially when my hair started to get nasty after not showering for 7 days. And then for the mornings and some of the colder days, I also had a beanie from Cotopaxi. The last thing I brought was a pair of pajamas, and these also doubled as extra things that I needed for summit night. So the first one is a t-shirt, and I don't know if I would recommend bringing a t-shirt to sleep in again. I really just ended up wearing my base layers most nights. However, on summit night, this became really useful because I had a water bladder with a hose, and my guide took my t-shirt and wrapped it around my water bladder and then taped it in order to keep my hose from freezing as quickly when we were summiting. So I got probably an extra 1.5 to 2 hours out of my hose because I had this t-shirt insulation. And then lastly, I had a pair of like thin jogger sweatpants, and I also wore these to summit in. For the third and final part of everything that I packed to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, we're doing like the random stuff. It'll make sense once I get going. The first thing we're talking about is hydration, because staying hydrated is so important on the mountain, and for that you need, this is a 3-liter, but you could also use a 2-liter kind of camelback hydration pouch. This goes into your backpack, and I loved having this on the trail because then I didn't have to like always reach back and try and grab my water bottle all the time, and it's just easily accessible. It gets me to drink 10 times more water than if I didn't have one. And along with that, I had a 1-liter insulated water bottle, and this is what I kept my electrolytes in every single day. So I basically drank 1 packet of electrolytes every day, and this was always loaded with that, and then my camelback was basically normal water. In case it rains or snows, you need to make sure you have some sort of rain cover for your backpack. Then a good pair of hiking sunglasses is crucial. These are mine, they're from Gooder. Just make sure you have something polarized, and I loved these ones because they wrapped around the sides. Like I said before, the UV up there is nothing to mess with, and the sun is so bright. To go along with protective gear, I had a bandana that I used to, 1, wrap around my neck to keep it out of the sun on like really hot days, but then also when we were coming down from summit night, I flipped it around and used it to cover my face because there was so much dust getting kicked around. If you have a normal neck gaiter, you can also use that too. I just usually prefer a bandana. One thing I didn't talk about in my packing list for the actual clothes that I brought is I did have a fleece neck gaiter that I wore on summit night. Some people use balaclavas. I just already had a neck gaiter, but you just want to make sure whatever it is fleece. I've been talking so much about the sun here. Bring sunscreen and good quality sunscreen for your face and for your body. It's mainly like your hands and your neck that will be exposed. I can't find my eye mask, but earplugs and eye mask are a must. Eye mask is especially needed on the night before summit night because you're trying to go to bed at 6 p.m. and sleep from like 6 until 10 p.m. and so it's still pretty much light out in your tent, so it's so nice to have that. And then also when you get done from summit, you have about an hour to nap at like 10 a.m. in the morning to 11 a.m. and so you're just gonna want something to block out the sun in your tent. You don't get to shower obviously while you're on the trail, but they will deliver you like a bucket of water, so you do need some sort of towel. If you have like a thin hand towel, definitely use that. I just had like my beach towel that I usually travel with, and this worked just as well. You just need something to be able to dip in water, wipe yourself down with, and then to also dry your face with every night. And it needs to be quick drying, so don't bring anything too thick. Along with that, I did bring baby wipes because there is one day where you don't get any water delivered to you because there's no way to access water at base camp. Having baby wipes was so nice also because usually when you get your water to like shower at the end of the day, they give it to you at 1 p.m. right when you get done hiking, so then you still have the rest of the day to like hang out, and sometimes it's nice to wipe yourself down with body wipes at the end of the night before you go to bed again. Headlamp is also crucial. This one's from Olight and it's rechargeable, but there's also a battery pack in here. You need to bring an extra spare battery for your headlamp or the charger cable for it, so I just recharged mine right before summit night. You use this every single night to go to the bathroom, but then you also really need it for summit night for basically the whole time that you're trekking. We have two more things to talk about. The first are power banks. I brought two. This one charges your phone like 5 times. This one charges it like 1.5, 2. These are just what I had, and I knew that I was gonna be taking a ton of photos on my phone. I just wanted to make sure that I had enough power to be able to take everything that I wanted to. And lastly, I have my med kit. This thing was full of anti-nausea medication, Pepto-Bismol, tons of band-aids and different KT wrap because I usually have issues with my knees, or if I was to get a blister. Thankfully, I didn't have any blisters this trip. Also had Advil in here. My altitude sickness medication was also in here. Malaria medication, like everything you could possibly need was in this medical kit. As promised, here are my packing lists in screenshot form, so make sure you screenshot this as you're packing so that you can go back and reference it. But that's everything that I packed to hike Mount Kilimanjaro, and it was truly one of the coolest travel experiences I've ever had in my life, and it is well worth every single cent I spent in order to be in Tanzania to do this trek. It is something I don't know if I necessarily need to do again, but it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that I'm so glad I did. If you guys want to know more about Mount Kilimanjaro and my whole experience, stay tuned for the video that's going to come out in about 2 weeks about the overall experience and give you a lot of other like tips and tricks on what you're signing yourself up for. But also if you're interested in any other travel in our 20s, how to actually make a travel lifestyle your reality, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you around. And with that, I'll see you guys in my next video.